low stress thing for me to do after work. Show off a few miniatures, test out my rig, make sure everything is working correctly. I certainly hope it is, because I've spent an awful lot of time trying to figure out how to make sure you can actually see stuff without seeing stuff, without, well, essentially making sure that future demonstrations will be worthwhile. Okay, alright. The sound is a bit strange, but we'll see how we go. Or maybe I'll change things up. Okay, so look, you'll find the start time down in the description. By all means, go down there when you're rewatching this and check it out when you want to. If you haven't been part of my live streams before, normally I present everything first and then I respond to everybody, but I'm honestly probably not going to do anything like that. What I'm going to do is I will respond to you. If there's somebody in the room, I'll say hi. Okay, so let's get started and I'll show you what I've got for today. So, there we go. Hi, welcome to HowtoDandD. My name is Fred Wheeler, and today I want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons. Actually, I don't really want to talk that much about Dungeons and Dragons. What I want to do is I want to show you some of my miniatures. I've got quite a few miniatures, and as it happens, I've got quite a few beholders. As I was going through my cupboard, looking through all my containers, I did realise that there were a few things that were missing. And I don't honestly know why they were missing. And I'm still trying to fathom what has happened to some of my beholders, because I had a whole lot of them. Now, I do remember giving away a lot of miniatures, and beholders, it's one of the things new dungeon masters always crave. And I just can't help myself, particularly when I had lots of money, or more money than I have now. I would give away miniatures, and beholders were always top on the list of requests from dungeon masters who were beginning out. So I'm going to start off. We're going to go with the big baby. We're going to go with the Death Tyrant. Got this quite a long time ago. It's the largest miniature that I have in terms of a beholder. It is pretty impressive. I always enjoyed playing with it. I don't know that I necessarily put it on the table that much, but I certainly I like to fondle my beholders from time to time, and this one I certainly have played around with quite a lot. Got my little turntable, and hopefully the background isn't going to sort of mess you up too much. So yes, that is my Tyrant beholder. I believe I got that when they were releasing, they released a pack. I can't remember the pack, but you got one really large miniature, and that large miniature you could actually see, and all the other miniatures were blind. I thought that was brilliant, because that's how I would continue to buy miniatures if I could. Anyway, so that is the Death Tyrant. We'll come back to him maybe. I've also got a very small one, a little sucker here. Where is he? Go. Just make sure I get him in the centre. There we go. So this little fella I've had for a few years. A long time ago, Wizards of the Coast put out a series that was basically a collection of beholders, and there was about 6 beholders in the set, and I thought it was quite a good idea, so I picked it up. So hence, I have quite a few of these little suckers, and they're different types, so you didn't get the same type of beholder. Next is, oh, can I read it? Eye of the Shadow. I believe this one is more of a Shadowfell, dark, sort of creepy sort of beholder type, and it's kind of see-through. You can actually see through it. It's partially sort of transparent, and it's purple. Always nice to have something a slightly different colour rather than those browns. Nothing, I'm not against anything that's brown, but I also like the idea of different colours. Colours make the world go round, right? And this one is certainly very, very colourful. I've used more than a few beholders in my games, and I've used most of these, even the Death Tyrant. What have we got here? On this one, it is a, that's right. How about a Ghost Beholder? This particular beholder, and oh, a flashlight. If I had a flashlight, I would do that. That's actually quite a good idea, flashlight. So this is a Ghost Beholder. Its eye is there, but what they didn't do is put like a dot for the eyeball. So it's still there, it's hard to make out. And it's supposed to represent sort of transparent again, but it's supposed to represent being a ghost beholder, something you could show up. They killed the beholder, but now they are constantly plagued by its ghost. I think that's actually quite a nice story for the Dungeon Master, not so much for the players, but it's a cool idea. Next up, we have the Beholder Eye of the Frost. So this particular beholder likes to serve ice cream and ice blocks, things like that. No, popsicles, no, not really. This is all white, semi-transparent again, not completely, but it's all about doing things. It's basically a cold beholder. I think all beholders are cold, but essentially that's the idea behind this one. So I'm going to flick him round. Behold my beholders, my holders, my holders, my... Okay, alright, this one, we'll just spin it, and he's going to say, yes, Fred, I'm happy to be here today. Right, moving along. Okay, now there would be 2 more beholders from the series or box that I bought years ago, but for like I said, there are 2 missing, and I can't find them, and I didn't know what to do, so I'm bringing in one of my own. I made my own beholder. Some of you will know this because you were probably part of the live stream, but this is my own beholder of my own creation. Yes, I know it looks strange, like he's got legs, but it's not. It's just because I needed something for it to have a stand on, and I'm not that clever that I can make little see-through clear stands for my miniatures. Hence, I didn't do that. I just decided to use, basically, I think mostly it's constructed by a mothball, a wooden mothball, a lot of putty, a whole bunch of beads, some paper clips, and a lot of time and effort and patience. So yes, this is my own beholder, and of course I've painted him up. He's not completely finished, but he's certainly pretty close to complete. So that is my beholders, as it happens. I don't have any more than that. I'm going to say right now that my beholder collection may be expanding. Actually, I know it is going to be expanding. Gale Force 9 are going to send me a beholder to review, as it happens. And hence, I have to make sure that I can show it off properly to you, right? So that's why we're doing that. Now, don't say no to me. So yes, there is another beholder coming into the collection, and I will show it off as a review later on, as soon as it shows up in the post. So that should be quite cool and exciting. So look, if you found this, I don't know, I wouldn't say useful, but certainly entertaining, a good time to pass, 7 minutes or so, then great, share and like the video. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, hit the bell button to be notified when I go live and when I publish new videos, which will happen. Now, if you want to support me, and I don't mean support me because I do actually have a full-time job as well, but I mean, if you want to support me, watching this video helped me out quite a lot. On top of that, I really do appreciate people watching more of my videos because I get a bit of AdSense revenue, provided you're not running an ad blocker. I totally get the, if they go running 2 ads in front of my videos, don't watch both of them. Just press the skip button by all means. I don't do Patreon, but I do have affiliate links to the Book Depository and Amazon where you can buy stuff online and I get a small commission. And if you don't buy stuff online, don't worry about it. It's all right. Okay, so when it comes to questions and feedback, I'm going to respond to everybody in the chat because there's a few people in the chat box, which is great, part of the live stream. If you're not part of the live stream, then hey, that's cool. That's where the comments section's all about there. That's why it's down there in the first place, right? Other than that, I'm going to say, hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s and don't look the beholder in the eye. Never look the beholder in the eye. Okay, I'm not God, I just needed to pause long enough so I know where to cut. Okay, so yeah, so this is what I have in terms of my miniatures. I don't think I can necessarily squeeze them all on. It's not like it's a happy flat family. Beholders have got a real issue with each other, so I can't imagine that they would enjoy hanging out together. But I'll squeeze them into the picture as best I can. And my one can just go at the back. Okay, so that's what we have. And let's have a look at the chat and see what they have to say here. We can probably just do it to the side a little bit. Oh, that's too much. That there, and that can go there, and this can go sort of there. Okay, all right. That's roughly how we'll lay it out. And let's get to the chat box and see what you guys have said here. How's it going, Steve? Glad you can make it to the live stream. Yeah, I'm glad to see you too, Steve. I added you on Facebook for future collabs of dungeon making. Okay, now when it comes to dungeon making, Steve, I'm probably going to do it. I've done it before. I've done two, where I went online, I drew with a pencil and a black marker a map, and I got the audience to interact with me and help create a dungeon and sort of partly a story and location. We did it not with, technology so much as in pieces of paper, a big piece of paper and a pen and some pencils. And we came up with a whole lot of different stuff. So I'm happy to do that sort of thing. If you've got something else in mind, that's cool. Just bear in mind I have limited resources in terms of time. But you let me know what you have in mind anyway. All right. TSM Cruise. Hi, how's it going? Hi, Aaron. Yes, it has been a long time. I have been hiding under a rock, apparently. No, I haven't been hiding under a rock. I've just been trying to find another job, that's all. I'm kind of curious what the sound is like, because I think maybe this board here, this Dungeon Master screen, is sort of between me and the mic, and I'm wondering if the sound is bouncing off that and causing any kind of reverberation. So I'm kind of curious to know what people have to say about that. Let me know, because I would be very interested to know what's been going on, since I can't hear everything, right? Glad you got back onto the internet. Yes, I wasn't gone, I just needed to take a break, hence I did. We all have to take a break at some point, right? Let's get a flashlight behind the show. I really wish I had a flashlight on me, but I just don't have one. Hey, how's it going, Joe? What's it, Steve? I once went to a store with one of my players. She watched as I brought 6 Beholder miniatures and said she would no longer be playing in my world. Oh, really? That's a shame. How many official Beholder minis are there? I have. What do you mean official Beholder minis that I have, or that have been actually made? I don't know how many have actually been made. I think there's quite a few. Yeah, because that's a lot of years to sort of go back, isn't it? In terms of how many I have official ones would be 5. I used to have 7, but I don't anymore, unfortunately. Okay, so what's that, Aaron? I wonder if you had a Beholder and an observation tower, if you could magnify the distance they cover in their anti-magic cone. You're very evil, Aaron. You really are. Sound is fine. Good. I'm glad. Sound is good. That's Ardom Smithson. So Arondom. Ardom. I'm going to go with Ardom. Max, okay. Yes, I can call you Max. That's fine. Max works well for me. Of course, that may not be related to what you were meaning in the first place, but I do apologise if I've butchered your name. Steve, it was more of a joke. She did still play. It's okay. Well, that's good news. I'm glad because every player and every dungeon master wants to have a Beholder in their game at some point, right? That's part of the christening of playing Dungeons and Dragons. Dragons, Beholders, Rust monsters, yeah. Ardom, haha, that's true. Many years of minis. There have been many years of minis. But like I said, I've got a surprise for you guys. Another Beholder should be making its way to me at this very moment. I just don't want to say which one it is. I'll let you try to guess. Okay? Alright. I think that's probably a good point to stop. What's this, Steve? Otiogs and gelatinous cubes. Now, are you asking me, Steve, if I have Otiogs to show off and gelatinous cubes? Now, I don't feel like you're going to really... Well, battling gelatinous cubes and Otiogs as part of christening to Dungeons and Dragons? Yes, I would agree, absolutely. being eaten by an otiog, fighting an otiog, being dissolved by a gelatinous cube. What do you got here? It's pronounced like a random. Ah, okay. Random. Andom. Is that it? Love how every time you struggle with it. I do. I mean, it's pathetic, isn't it? I need to do a video on Dungeons and Dragons pronunciations of words. I know I'm not the only dungeon master who struggles with this sort of thing. And then in between having to contend with New Zealand English and everybody's perception of how I should be speaking, since there are so many people from the United States who either think I'm from Australia. Occasionally there are a few people who think I'm from the UK, but I don't think they understand that we don't sound that similar. What's that, Steve? Added to your list of good monsters is all. Yes, you have added to the good monsters. There are so many. I love monsters. That's why we're going to have the Monster Manual series coming back. I really think it's going to make this channel much more interesting for me and for you guys. Amongst other things, that is. What's that, Joe? Surprised you don't own the WizKids paintable ones. I brought 2, only 1 painted so far. Joe, don't give it away, man. Don't give it away, Joe. I don't actually have the WizKids one because the ones that you can paint, when I went in to buy stuff, the store attendant said, "Oh, I thought you'd be buying a beholder." And I said, "Well, there's no beholder on the shelf, so how can I buy it if it's not on the shelf?" And I was like, "Well," and he said, "Oh, it's really, really cool." And I was like, "We've got some out the back." So I waited. He didn't go out the back. No, he just stood there like a dumb mullet and did nothing. I would have bought it right then and there because you guys had had a whole bunch of subscribers give me, I hope, some money from Super Chat. So I went and spent that money on miniatures when I got a lot of stuff stolen. And I was supposed to get character miniatures, but I would have bought the beholder and painted it as a live stream. But he didn't produce it, so I wound up with the Umber Hulk, which I actually really like. I like Umber Hulks too. Adam, what's that? That is dumb for the guy. Yeah, I don't think he quite clicked. But having worked in retail, I understand how tired your brain just sort of shuts down after a while. Yeah, let's put that in there. But to be fair, when you're working in retail, sometimes you just get so tired or just so bored, your brain isn't stimulated enough to be able to function properly. If I had been standing in front of the manager would have figured it out straight away and said, "Hang on, just wait a minute, I'll go out the back and I'll grab one." Christopher, how's it going? Oh, I just happened to catch the stream. Thanks for all the strategy videos. They are super helpful. Well, we're going to have more of those of a different nature, but they're still coming. Don't worry. Certainly there'll be a little bit of monster tactics in the Monster Manual videos that we do, and then later on the tactic videos will follow that monster. Probably that's how it'll work. What's that, Aaron? Just brought Dragonborn Paladin and Hag minis from WizKids. I have a whole bunch of stuff coming from WizKids, but they're sending it through the distribution centres, so it's going to take a lot longer to get to me, unfortunately. But a whole bunch of stuff they want me to review. I had actually requested Dungeon of the Mad Mage miniatures, the new line, but they apparently don't have them ready to deliver yet, so I can't do anything about that. That's fine, understandable. What's it, Aaron? Slowly building my collection. Yeah, it's like that, eh? I spent years and years building it, and now suddenly it's sort of slowed right down because you just try to cover the mortgage and pay them enough money to buy food nowadays. What's that, Steve? I bought a T-Rex, apparently without realizing it started off over 4 different... What? Realizing it, I started off over 4 different of my campaigns with 2 or 3 of them in one combat. Hey man, that's how you do it. You buy T-Rexes. If you go down to the Chinese Emporium or the $2 shop or whatever you got over in your country, those import stores, and you buy up a whole lot of dinosaurs. T-Rexes make great monsters, and you want a herd of them. You know, not one. You know, like a herd. So one pushes them towards one direction or draws them in a particular direction, and then the rest pounce from all directions, and then mayhem ensues. I know that sounds terrible, but you know me. I'm not worried about the players' characters dying, and I'm not really worried about them having to roll up a new character either. I'm not sold on when your character dies you can't play it again. I'm not really sold on that, so I don't mind. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. I just want to excite my players, and if I can, anything I can think of that will either scare them or excite them, I'll do it. I don't care. Christopher, what do you got here? Hopefully I got your name right. Hopefully getting a beholder from my American cousins. It's pretty impressive. Impossible. Oh, it's pretty impossible to get in Denmark. I can believe that. Denmark, that's a tough place to get stuff to. I know there's a few places that it's really hard to get things. There is one on our version of eBay going for $350, which is insane. Yes, that is absolutely insane. It's part of the reason, Christopher, why I did a live stream on how to make your own beholder. That's the one I showed you before that is homemade. I don't know if you've seen it. Hang on. You better rewatch this video anyway. So it's back here. So I made my own with materials that anybody can get, so you don't have to worry about being anywhere in the world. It's all made by stuff that you can get no matter where you are. What's that, Joe? I pre-ordered a brick of Mad Mage minis and the new premium Mad Mage board game coming out. I didn't think about that. I suppose I should have asked them if they would send me the new premium Mad Mage board game as well to review. It's a really good idea. I haven't actually seen what it's like. I haven't really seen it on their website, so I hadn't even thought about it. Unless somebody else is making it now. Maybe it's not Gale Force 9. Maybe it's somebody else. I'm hoping on a good selection of minis in the set. Plus, we are definitely running this campaign next. Well, I think it's because it's the sort of thing. It's basically just a huge collection of dungeons, which means you don't have to use everything, right? Dungeon of the Mad Mage, you could use one or two levels, or use a level, then do something else, come back, do a different level, come back after you've done something else after that. So you can sort of mix and match, you know, it doesn't have to be all underground. And whether you're traveling horizontally with your adventure or vertically with your adventure, who cares? Really, you're still traveling. It's just whether you're traveling horizontally or vertically. That's the difference, right? Christopher, what's that? Dope. I'll have to look at this. Thanks, mate. You're welcome. Just type in crafting beholder. And I think I'm one of the few people who've actually shown you how to do it step by step. They're long videos though, so speed them up. Okay. What else we got here? Adam, what do you got here? I got to go. It was nice catching up one of your live streams. Hey, thank you for jumping in. I've probably got to go too and do some other stuff before I have to go to bed. Christopher, and yeah, I will watch this back. Gotta help my daughter have a shower. Have an awesome day, everyone. Yes, you are. Have an awesome day, mate. Thank you for showing up. Steve, what's that? I miss old school traps in dungeons, like ropes to climb up or swing across a pit, but there are hooks inside them. You know, Steve, we're going to cover traps at some point. I don't know when. I can't promise that because there's not enough time in my day to do all the things I would like to do. But I certainly have plans for doing a lot of stuff that you might be interested in. Hopefully what I'm currently doing will be interesting enough to you. Till then. Okay. Right, I'm going to get going, guys, before I lose my voice and I need YouTube to be able to have some time to actually process this, otherwise it's not going to work out very well. You're going to be waiting for it tomorrow morning when I get up in the morning. It'll be morning for me and some other time of the day for you. Okay, so thank you for everybody who showed up, and I will take off. I'm sure YouTube will publish this thing in a couple of hours.